Right now, I want to bring up a friend and someone who has a story to tell about what some of this rebuilding might look like. For those of you that rolled in since I've introduced the day, we have two different types of discussions outside of the panels. We have storytellers, like Steve, who's going to talk about a story that's related to one of the panels. Then we have state of play, which we're going to end with before we get to lunch. And I'm going to hand this over to Steve. Quick intro, and we're going to have a video to show, and then we're going to move to our other Steve.
First of all, I'd like to thank Sean and Sideporch and others for including us here. And I just want to acknowledge the loss of any of you here who lost your homes. I have a friend who lost hers. Many of my friends lost homes in Altadena and Palisades. We've built for many people, so we have some sense of the incredible disruption and stress, and I just want to acknowledge that. I'm Steve Glenn. My company designs and builds sustainable, climate resilient, single and multifamily housing. We just actually installed about a mile from here a multifamily project with Community Corp, achieving LEED Gold. We've done more LEED Platinum and Gold certified homes than any other prefabricator by far in the U.S. I'm going to show you a video in a second of the new factory that we opened, but just quickly, I wanted to, you heard a little bit about prefab. I want to clarify why I think it's a really important part of the construction solution. We built a number of homes after Tubbs and after Wilson. One of the biggest issues was the fact that it was just hard to get GCs. We're super busy. We heard people saying it's a year or two before GCs are saying that they'll be able to get to it. So availability, two, cost and time. It is currently an issue if you're doing construction. It likely will be more of an issue. And then dependability. You heard about that from someone here too. It's one thing to get a budget and a schedule. It's another thing to realize that budget and schedule because of change orders or the vagaries of weather, delays, etc. Prefab can be a better solution, at least the way we do it, certainly a more sustainable solution. So let's show the video. We opened a little over a year ago the first facility in the United States that's purpose-built to do both panels and modules. Those are the two major building systems for prefabrication. It's a $40 million, 270 square foot facility. We can do about 3 million square feet, or about 1,000 to 2,000 homes a year. We offer both standardized homes, so we work with great architects like Ray Happy and Karen Timberlake and Brooks and Scargo to design a number of standard homes you can select from. But we're also working with architects for specific homes for the Palisades and Altadena. We also do custom. We'll work with any architect, and it's particularly important for rebuild projects because sometimes you've got 110% you can do of your previous structure to be able to qualify for expedited permitting, and you've got to fit your lot, your specific zoning. So that's really important to be able to work with your design. So every project starts with a digital twin, so we work with the architect to fully coordinate your structural, your mechanical, your electrical, your plumbing. We're clarifying any constructability issues at a digital level before we start construction. If you've not done construction, you don't know why that's important. Oftentimes there are delays in construction because you can't figure out what's going on and you've got to stop construction to figure it out. We do it all digitally. So this is how the process starts for us at the factory. We have this piece of equipment that cuts every piece of lumber that we use, every stud joist, every glue lamp, every beam for the modules, for the frames, cut here. It routes, so no plumber or electrician actually measures anything, even gravity drops from plumbing, all done by that machine. Absolutely precise. This is one of 3 lines we have for automated production of roof panels, floor panels, wall panels. So you just saw a piece of equipment that nails every stud and joist. This attaches the weatherproofing. We do 1 hour fire separation on every home. It's just a core part of how we build. This cuts out openings for windows and doors. trims out any excess wood. This blows in insulation, by the way, it's 100% recycled, it's denim, it's blue jeans, blows in your insulation. So I'm showing you processes that dramatically reduce time and cost. Our average home is in production in 3 months. That's in parallel to your site work. The average home in Los Angeles takes about 1 year to 2 years to build. It's 3 months here. So in these lines, we then put in your windows, your drywall, your cladding, and then we have 3 module lines, and that's where we're putting in all your finished plumbing and electrical. So your millwork, your tiles, where we grout, drywall, all of that happens here. And then we wrap the module, inspected, by the way, they're all inspected at the factory, live load. We're testing your plumbing, your sprinklers, all that happens here. Literally, we deliver certificates because the local municipality has no authority to actually do any inspections. We sell to general contractors, so we're like a master sub. We're not replacing the GC, we're a master sub to them, so we get the products ready for that. And I invite anyone, I'm happy to show you the facility. It's about an hour north. Go to planetprefab.com. You can, there's a special section for fire rebuilds. We're offering a free feasibility. It's normally $500, but if you lost your home, free feasibility. We'll figure out if you can use prefab, we'll give you a budget. We're happy to talk to you. I'm Steve at planetprefab.com. I'm happy to personally speak to you. Thank you, Sharon.
The second state of play. This is a leader from Altadena. We wanted to make sure this isn't just West Side focused because we're over here. Steve has driven all the way over and he's doing amazing things. He's going to talk about what is he seeing overall, what are the challenges and concerns that he's identified, and where are the spots for hope and optimism. Then I'm going to say a few things, and then the sandwiches are going to be yours. Steve, thank you for coming all the way in.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sideporch, for having me. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm Steve Sachs, the Executive Director of Sustainable Community Development Corporation. We are located in Altadena. I'm also a resident of Altadena. Our house survived, but we are still trying to remediate. And I can't even tell you how many friends lost homes. So for us, this is very visceral. In fact, this whole journey came the next morning when I went up to see my house and see if it was still there or not, because I live up against Eaton Canyon. And when it was, I said, you know what, we need to look at the situation and we need to figure out how we're going to do this, how we're going to rebuild our community. And it's from there we've been on this journey, the journey of how. And to start with the back end of what Sean asked, the hope. There's hope. This is going to be done. We're going to find a way to do this. And we're going to find a better way to do this. You heard the panelists talking about all the different options that we're going to consider. We don't have the answers yet. But there is going to be a way to do this, and we're going to rebuild stronger and better than we were before. In Altadena, the state of play is very basic right now, much like the Palisades. We're still trying to figure it out. There's a lot of discussion about how community can be participatory in this, and how community is going to drive the redevelopment, how we're going to be able to incorporate a lot of the diversity that Altadena is known for, and utilize that to make a better city when this is all said and done. The things that give me concern right now are things that we talked about ad nauseum. Insurance is going to be a huge piece to this. How are we going to thread the needle that we're in right now? How are we going to fund this? CalFair plan has its issues. Private insurers are already starting to deny renewal. Well, they're not going to deny renewals, but people are looking to switch over, already being denied because they're saying zip codes are being locked out. So what is that going to look like in 12 months from now? But there's another thing that we're concerned about, and it's going to be the financing. You heard about resiliency districts, community service districts, other quasi-governmental or super-governmental functions. But the federal government's not coming in with the traditional money that it has been in the past. So we're going to have to be creative in how we create what's called a capital stack. And the capital stack consists of the various tools that policymakers use to finance. And up in Altadena, we have a different challenge because of the diversity of our community in how we're going to build back affordably. that is going to be a critical component of what we have to solve for. And that is something that the financing mechanisms in place are going to have to incorporate. So those are the things that we are really zeroing in on right now. It's just about, we know we're going to build that, and we're going to get there. It's just a matter of how. So thank you.
Something we wanted to share. If the thesis we're trying to explore here is that the resilience we need in our communities need to be founded upon kindness and generosity with no expectation of reciprocity. How can we be there to help each other? We've started, I've been writing about this after we lost our house, about the incredible outpouring of support that my family, that others in the community have seen from friends, from family, from neighbors, from colleagues, from strangers around the world. So I've started writing about those stories on the Substack. We're going to start a podcast, because everyone has podcasts. We're going to start a podcast to tell these stories. So there's a link here to a place where we're going to be aggregating this. Importantly, there's a link there encouraging and asking others in the crowd to share your stories that you're seeing. Corey in back, Corey's there waving his hand. He heard a story of my family encountering multiple mountain lions. My wife was up in the mountains with our dog. A mountain lion jumped out of the trees, scream roared at her. They fled into the house, mountain lion. My son goes on a night hike 3 days later, sees two huge yellow eyes 1.5 miles from the car, backs up to the car, 4 other sets of eyes. The cubs also were with them on the way down. Corey created this amazing logo on a shirt, and everyone was saying, "We got you." So we created these shirts and hats. Anybody that goes back and talks to Corey and shares a story, if we have enough, we're going to give you one of these shirts and hats. You can buy more of them on here. Anything we make out of this is going to be buying shirts for others or donating to a nonprofit that Nurit recommended to us that's supporting wildlife that are going through these same challenges to the built natural world. We're trying to work on that too. So Corey's back there, and at the break, some of the stories you've already shared with us are going to be up on the screen interspersed with sponsors. Right, so thank you for that. Right now, Brian, I want to introduce one other person before we break for lunch. Brian Garrett is one of the founders of Crosscut Ventures. They're the ones that gave us this space. They're starting a new fund that will be supporting the kind of resilient technologies and efforts, entrepreneurs that we care about. But Brian also has a personal piece in this as well, so I could not be more grateful for you opening this up. Brian, do you want to say a quick word about Crosscut? Can we please give her, this couldn't happen if you
hadn't prepared anything, but happy to wing it as I always do. Welcome to the space, happy to share it with the community. I think from my point of view, we started Crosscut in 2008 and are credited as the first seed fund of Southern California. And the way we did it was community first. One event at a time, one introduction at a time, one deal at a time, one company at a time. And over 16 years, I can look back and be like, wow, we did it the right way. We brought people together, made them feel comfortable, and made them believe that you could build a tech ecosystem in Southern California when nobody believed it back in 2008. I stand here today having lost my home and lost all 7 of the homes I've ever lived in my life. I'm born and raised in the Palisades, all over town. Everything I know and believe in is gone. And I think community is more important than ever. And I'm here to bring it back better than ever. And happy to support all of these initiatives as we lean in and try to, I'm not one for civic duty, but now I feel called to action to lean in and try to